Good early afternoon. We are live here on the Blue Plate Special. I'm Andy Andrews, and you have joined us at Wisdom Harbor in Orange Beach, Alabama, at the Wharf. Here, home of the unbelievably lifelike escalator statues. When you come and visit, take your picture with the escalator statues. We have marlin statues that are life-size, and escalator statues that you can stand on them, you can take your picture with them. They look just like real escalators, they just don't go up and down. Marcy Crossler Taylor, hello. And what do you think? What do you think? I got to turn the phone off. Good grief. I mean, this just kind of came like right in there. The music started and Matt said, "You're on." And I was kind of not ready. But hey, from Iowa, where there's a snowstorm, snowball fights later. Yeah, we had a white Christmas here. It was all sand. And man, I'm looking outside right now at palm trees, and it's pretty warm. It's pretty warm. I know t-shirt weather. You know, most of us wearing jeans, but there's shorts out there. And there's Cleveland, Ohio, Searcy, Arkansas, home of Harding University, where you eat your mascot. And they're Indiana. Christy, hey, that's my sister, Christy, who just made my wife like the happiest human on the planet. Christmas. It was just ridiculous. My sister, I mean, here, you know, the boys and I just go all this, we do everything. We just try our best. And then Christy comes in with a couple of cases of tab, and Polly just goes nuts. Yep, she goes nuts. She was in mourning, like official mourning, for 2 or 3 weeks when Coca-Cola canceled tab. And I said, come on. It's just it's a ruse. It's new Coke, you know? And you know, everybody says, "Well, there's an aluminum shortage. There's an aluminum shortage." No, there's not. Go to the store. There may be an aluminum shortage. That may be the excuse, but can you get tinfoil? Can you get Reynolds wrap? Yes. Hey, Leslie Wright, how are you doing? Ruth Luker, Jean McDonald, Sonia, how are you doing? Hey, I heard Jimmy's the song he just recorded. I guess he just recorded it today. Did he record it today? And I understand that you're going to do background vocals on that. I wonder if Jimmy Urey is using his wife, Sonia, for background vocals because, one, she is his wife, and he wants to make her feel wanted and appreciated. 2, he would get that without having to pay for it. Or 3, because she has the best voice in Nashville. I wonder which one of those. Do you know that Dolly Parton said about Sonia Isaacs Urey, however you want to say it, but Dolly Parton said that if Linda Ronstadt and who's the other one? Emmylou. If Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris, why am I looking over at Matt? He probably doesn't know who either one of those are. But Dolly Parton said if Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris had been able to have a baby together and it would have been a girl, she would have sounded like Sonia. So, and Sonia says, "Oh, he has to pay." Yeah, I'll bet. But anyway, the song was awesome. I love the song. And I said Gene, didn't I? I saw Gene is on there. Unbelievable bass. So Dave Warner, you saw the podcast came out today. We had Dre all day going on. This is a great story. You know, a lot of people on social media know about Dre all day. His real name is Dre Baldwin, and Dre was cut from his high school basketball team 3 years in a row. He made it his senior year, made it onto the team, and averaged 2 points a game his senior year. He walked on to a Division III college, made the team, and then spent 9 years playing professional basketball. But it's a great story, and Dre is a great guy. Hey, to all the people on Facebook, I want to say hello and want to ask you, if you will, please share this to your page. Also, feel free to click that notification button and turn on the notifications on your cell phone. That way, when we go live here at Wisdom Harbor, you will be notified. Even if you're asleep, they'll wake you up and notify you. And this is an official notification. And if you're on YouTube, press that subscribe button. Okay. Hey, Barry Williams from Lucedale, Mississippi. Jennifer Budd from Australia. You're from Australia. Ah, great. What part of Australia are you from? Do you know that I've been to Australia a couple of times, and I've been to New Zealand a couple of times, and the New Zealandites called themselves Kiwis. And there is something that I have noticed about the difference of in their accents. People from Australia talk like this. It's a lot like Crocodile Dundee, because he is from Australia. And you remember Crocodile Dundee? Do you know who Crocodile Dundee is? Emily.
Oh yeah.
Where's Emily? You know who Crocodile Dundee is? Emily, my God! Are you serious?
Yeah.
Just let me ask you this. Okay, so Emily is in the booth with Matt. You know, Matt is this old person now. How old are you, Matt?
I am 29.
29. And Emily is like 10 years younger than you.
Yeah, I'm 19.
Yeah. We've got a millennial and a Gen Z in there. Yeah. And so we've got our first official Gen Z working. But but you really don't know who Crocodile Dundee is.
No, but I will say I've heard.
You stayed in the Holiday Inn Express last night.
What?
Nothing. You probably don't understand that either.
I don't know what you're talking.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you recognize this? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, Mick? Mick, he's got a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Do you recognize that?
No. I don't understand it.
One of the greatest lines from cinema history. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah, this guy tried to pull him out, tried to mug him with a knife. Had this little switchblade, and he pulled out this big old alligator sticker. Or a crocodile sticker. But anyway, so the people from Australia talk like this. And then if you just go right across the ocean there to New Zealand, everybody in New Zealand, there is a lilt at the end of everything they say. It's like everything's a quick. They talk like this, and we're going down to the store. It's the same basic accent, but it always lifts up at the end, like they're asking a question. So it's just something I noticed. Okay, so you saw the end of the show with the Christmas candy recycling. Good. Thanks. Hey, today on today's show, I'm gonna list a top 7 things that happened good in 2020. I know there's not many good things, but we found 7. We had to struggle to find them. We were going to do a top 10, but there were only 7. Have we got the countdown clock?
It should be coming in right now.
Like Jeopardy music while we find the countdown clock? Yep, 2 days, 11 hours, 35 minutes, and some such seconds. Can you believe 16, 15, 14, 13? Can you believe we are this close to the end of 2020? Do you remember when 2020 was on the horizon and we all thought, what a cool year this is going to be? 2020 vision, 2020 eyesight, everything's 2020. The marketing people went nuts. And then, okay, I get a lot of my shirts from Sand Dollar Lifestyles right down here. They're a cornerstone at the wharf. But my sister Christy, she probably got it at Sand Dollar Lifestyles, but my sister Christy gave me this shirt. Can you see this? This is 2020, 1 star. It's like, no, very poor. Would not recommend. Okay, so I think it's a good shirt because, 2020 hindsight. That's exactly right. And with the 3 exclamation marks, I think is great because I would like to have it in my hindsight. Mike White says, I'm going to miss 2020, just like poison ivy. Yeah. You know what? There were, some, other than the usual stuff that we talk about, things like COVID and earthquakes and just, pandemics and fires and pestilence and all this kind of stuff. Many of us have also had personal struggles or personal tragedies. And, my extended family this week is going through a very tough time. I've introduced you guys probably several times to the Luker family, and I've mentioned Roger Luker and saying Roger's like my oldest friend in the world because literally Roger's mom, Aunt Martha, who's not really my aunt, but she's closer than an aunt, closer than family. And so Aunt Martha and my mom were best friends. And so Roger was born, I was born in May, Roger was born in June, and they literally put us in a playpen together. So Roger's like my oldest friend. And so Aunt Martha and Uncle Norris had 4 kids, Stephen, Becca, Roger, and Suzanne, or actually Stephen, Roger, Becca, and Suzanne. And it's been a tough bunch of months. Stephen passed away kind of unexpectedly about a year ago. And then Rebecca just passed away last week. Now, it's tough because I love this family, but I am talking about it, I guess, because I'm so, I guess, proud of Rebecca's life. I'm proud of this family. I feel so sad for Aunt Martha. I can't think of anything worse than burying a child, except for maybe burying 2. It's just awful. But when, it's a funny story about Becca's life is that when we were all growing up, she and I would kind of hang together when the families would get together because Christy and Stephen, Roger, and Suzanne would go play and do stuff. But Becca and I would go to like the living room and we would come up with a show. We would work on a show. I remember one time we sang that Fifth Dimension song, "The Moon is in the 7th House." Remember that? We sang that in that empty living room that Aunt Martha had. And I always thought it was kind of funny. When we were little, that Aunt Martha would, it was me, Christy. Sometimes we would all stay together. And so my parents were gone. Uncle Norris was at work. It was just Aunt Martha there at the house. And it was Stephen, Roger, Andy, Christy, Becca, and Suzanne. And I remember one time Aunt Martha saying, "Y'all are driving me out of my mind." And I remember thinking, what are we doing? But now I look back and I go, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I can really imagine. But all the other kids would go play. And Becca and I would create a show. And at the end of the day, we would charge everybody 10 cents to come see it. And they had to. They had to come. They had to pay us, and they had to sit through it. And so it's funny to me that I ended up doing whatever the heck this is that I do. And Becca went to New York and became a star on Broadway. And when I tell you, sometimes I tell my friends, I say, there's somebody that I meet, I say, Jimmy Yeary, a friend of mine, is a songwriter, and people, hi, and I said, no, he's like, for real, a songwriter, like many number ones, songwriter of the year twice, this kind of stuff. And so when I say that Becca went to New York and became a star on Broadway, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, she went up there and, man, she started working right away. And in 1988, I mean, she was just out of college, basically, and had gone to the University of Montevallo. And the biggest Broadway show of the decade, probably of the half century, was just going down the tracks really good. Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. And as many of you might know, Andrew Lloyd Webber's wife played the lead role, Christine, first, okay? But Becca took over as Christine. And from 88 to 91, for 3 years, she played Christine on Broadway, Phantom of the Opera. I mean, it's unbelievable. You want to see Becca do something amazing? A few years ago, she was, you can go on YouTube and put in Rebecca Luker, Luker, Phantom Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and see Becca singing one of those Phantom songs with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and orchestra and everything. I mean, she was a big deal. Okay, she went right out of that into The Secret Garden. She originated the role of Lily, which is the female lead, opposite Mandy Patinkin in A Secret Garden. And if you don't know who Mandy Patinkin is, you should. Emily, have you seen The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Mandy Patinkin was Inigo Montoya.
Oh.
Remember Mandy Patinkin? Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. That was Mandy Patinkin. And so he and Becca originated the male and female roles on A Secret Garden. In 94, 97, she did Showboat. That was one of the many things she was nominated for a Tony Award for. Then 98 and 99, she was Maria in The Sound of Music. And I didn't get to see that one on Broadway, but I got to see her on the Today Show with all the little kids around her doing that. Then in 2000 to 2002 years, she played Marion in The Music Man, Marion the Librarian. Remember that? Marion, Madam Librarian. Then 2006 to 2010, Mary Poppins. Then 2013 to 2014, Cinderella. And, on TV, you probably saw her because she's in The Good Wife, she was in Boardwalk Empire, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, NCIS New Orleans. And so, anyway, Becca, and she's from Alabama. I went to the University of Montevallo. And she was a big deal. And she was my friend. And my sister Christy says, is that what is all I ask of you, Christy? Is that what she did with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir? I think so. But, I have so many great memories with Roger and Stephen and Becca and Sana. And it just seems amazing. Becca came down with ALS, and it was a particularly aggressive form, but she made a real mark while she was on Earth and did a lot of good. She was a wife and a mom up in New York, and I think the last time I talked to Becca, I was in Los Angeles, and I was in a hotel. And in the lobby, there was this nice area where they had a book on the coffee table, and the book was it was something like stories from Broadway, and it was an older book. And I got into it, and the stories were very funny. It's just little anecdotes, and the stories were very funny, even though I didn't really know who they were talking about. Even though Becca was in the book a couple or three times. But I called Becca and I said, hey, have you heard of this book? And she said, no. And I said, and her husband, Danny, Christy, what show is Danny in? He played in Fiddler on the Roof. He was the lead guy, if I was a rich man, on Broadway. And Danny's been like Tony Awards and And he's in some big thing, or right now it's all dark up there. But anyway, love Becca. And appreciate you guys sitting and listening. I know Roger and Suzanne are probably watching, and Christy says Moulin Rouge is the one, and he's like a big deal in that. Probably it was getting a Tony Award. So let's go to some good things in 2020. We know, that's one of the bad things for me was Becca passing, and of course the whole COVID thing. Good grief! But hey, remember when it happened last March? The very first video that we put out of this place was that, this virus is running crazy, but we have a history of finding the vaccines for these viruses. And we did a video, it was like a 10-minute video listing the different diseases and all these kind of things that we have since found viruses for, and we ended the video by saying, and we will find a vaccine for this. And so now there are 2 coming out and being administered right now, and so just amazing. But let's talk about some good things, even though I guess the vaccine is a good thing. Irene said that 2020 is the year the Oak Grove Tigers won the state championship for the 2nd year in a row. History made. Yes. What are good things that have happened to you guys this year? I mean, I'm going to list these 7 things that we kind of came up with, but I would love to hear as I'm going through these. There's Roger. Hey, Raj. Sure love y'all, buddy. And man, I had a message this morning from Martha, so I'm sure that the services have been set for Becca, and I'll be in touch. But I'm gonna list 7 things we came up with, good things that I think are good things about 2020 that happened, and so I would love to see what you think, and I'll relay them to everybody else. Number 7 for me was. It's not that big a deal, really, because, Alabama seems to always be kind of top of the list. But Alabama is in the playoffs again. So, roll Tide. We're spoiled. We know it. What would this? I think this is like when we win the national championship this year. It'll be, I think, number 18. Number 18. Emily is in there. Emily's in there, like shaking her head. She's an Auburn fan. Which she got hired here before SB knew she was an Auburn fan. And so now we all like her, and it's like too late. And so it's, but I'm glad you're here, not at Auburn. Did you know that the library at Auburn burned down the other night?
No?
Yeah, it did. 3 books were burned, and 2 of them weren't even colored in yet.
Oh, my.
Okay, number 6 for me is I met Michael Perry this year. How about that? If you are somewhere in the dark and don't know who Michael Perry is like one of my favorite authors. And I was reading his stuff for 6 or 7 years before I finally met him. We did a podcast with Mike, and it's a very, very funny one. You might want to go back in the archives and watch that podcast with Michael Perry. I was at a gas station the other day, and I went in. There was a couple in there, and they said something like, Andy Andrews. And I said, hey, how are you? They said, we like your books. I said, well, thank you very much, very much. And they said, read that population book too. I said, Michael Perry's book? I said, yeah, you told us about it. I said, yeah, Population 485. It's a great book. I said, we liked it. So, thank you. So I have turned people on to Michael Perry this year and have been texting back and forth. Mike, really, really like him a lot and love his work. But he writes a little too much for me. I'm talking to him earlier, texting with him, and he's like, yeah, I wrote 3 books this year. I got another one coming in. I got radio stuff, the columns I'm doing. He's not like, yeah, trying to make it to a 12:15 show here at the wharf. And but he's very prolific, and it's all good. It's all good. All right, number five. Restaurants shared their secret recipes this year. It was amazing. I mean, all over the place. All these secret recipes that nobody could ever, get them to turn loose of. Now we're all at home and they've shared secret recipes. This morning, I was reminded once again to be careful with the yellow sheets that I tear out of this thing that my wife keeps around when she's a recipe person. She's a foodie. And, I was trying to find something to write on. I thought briefly about writing on the back of this recipe and leaving a note, but no. All right, number 4. Now, I just put this one in there because I thought it was stupid. Okay, because I read this on a list of great things, and it has to have been written by somebody who is a millennial or a Generation Z person. You'll understand what I'm saying. Number 4, Amazon introduced fun new boxes that can be turned into a fort or for a robot costume. This is new to these people? I mean, we've been cutting up boxes and building forts and digging holes in the ground, put box over the hole. We've been building robot costumes, and we've been doing that since God was a boy. And now they think this is new. I mean, if you remember, I wrote about that in the Socks for Christmas thing.
Yep.
The kid got a trampoline in a. By the way, I knew it was Christmas the other day. I saw a truck, like a pickup, driving down the road with a fully put together trampoline draped across the back of that truck.
Oh my
Like
God.
a trampoline going down the highway. Number 3. Generation Z has found the Oak Ridge Boys. That's right. The other day, we were just kind of, I forget how the Oak Ridge Boys came up, but we found out that Emily, our little Generation Z girl, did not know who the Oak Ridge Boys were. And I looked right at her and I said, Emily, does Papa Mau Mau, does that mean anything to you at all? She's like, no. And so after the show, her mother was watching the show, and her mother sent her a text and said, we have failed you. Your grandfather would drop dead if he knew that you didn't know who the Oak Ridge was. And didn't your mom send you some albums?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You need to listen to them all.
Okay.
5 times per song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll tell you kind of a funny Oak Ridge Boys story that didn't really have anything to do with them on the stage. Do you know what they look like now?
No.
Emily, you gotta look at them.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
They have a very unique look, when because Joe Bonds was always wearing a baseball outfit and tennis shoes and stuff like that, and then Richard Sturban looked like he stepped off GQ magazine, and Ace Dwayne Allen, the lead singer, he looks good. It's kind of just rich, casual kind of thing, And then, William Lee Golden looks like, he just walked out of his teepee or, putting his medicinals away or something. But Golden is awesome. Golden's from Alabama, and but Golden is the one who has his hair is like this long. His beard is I mean, Duck Dynasty people, they couldn't even shave when Golden grew his beard, okay? And so the boys were little. The boys were, 7 or 8 or 9. Just old enough for Austin to have turned into Alex Keaton from Family Ties. Now, I know you don't know that show, but, surely you remember Michael J. Fox. J. Fox, remember Alex Keaton? He was this little conservative, and he was the adult of this whole. That was Austin when he was 7 or 8 or 9, and so we were just turning into our neighborhood, and I looked down and walking up the road with a couple of people. I mean, how could you not recognize Golden even from afar, right? He has this huge, flowing beard and all. And so I just I pulled off to the side and didn't go in the neighborhood. And I just like stopped the car right where they would have to walk right into it. And they're getting closer. And I can see Golden kind of going, oh, no, oh, God, here's somebody, what are they going to make me sing or get my autograph or something? I can just say, and of course, as they're getting closer, the boys, especially Austin's going, Dad, what are you doing? Dad, get out of here. These people are dangerous. Dad, go. And I'm just kind of laughing. And right as they get up to the car and they're about to walk around, I roll the window down, it's on the other side, and I said, William Lee? And he looks in there and he goes, oh, and he laughs. Well, the boys are like, Austin's about to have a panic attack, but I introduce him. And then right when we go home, I pull him up on YouTube and I said, here, this is who you just saw. This is who you just met. But we're glad Generation Z is into the Oak Ridge boys. Number two on my list of great things this year is outdoor sports with the family are up. Man, I mean, families can't, there's not a lot of baseball and basketball going on for kids and the travel teams, not a lot of that is happening. And so tons of families have gotten boats and gotten RVs and hunting licenses this year all over the nation are just like going through the roof. I mean, it's setting records of how many people gotten hunting licenses, fishing licenses. You go into a Bass Pro or a Cabela's or a Campbell's Hardware, you can't get any ammunition. You can't get any, firearms. I'm not sure that has anything to do with the COVID thing, but maybe, I don't know. But outdoor sports are up because it's a way, you can social distance with your family. And the number one thing that is kind of good news, and you don't know how good the news this is yet, I guess, but Wisdom Harbor Studios opened, and so we're very happy about that. We've had just a great time here. We're just having a blast already, and we're adding stuff like crazy. You guys need to come and see what's going on here. We're putting the ship in glass out there. We've got almost 30 magazine covers on the wall out there now. In July 42 was it was the first 4th of July after Pearl Harbor. And so every magazine in America put the American flag on the cover of the magazine. So we've got them all up on the wall, or all of them. We got all of that I could collect over the past number of years. And now you can hardly get them because they're so expensive. Most of those I got for like $30 or $40, but I did pay $150 for the Ladies' Home Journal with the flag because it's just, to me, such a beautiful cover. We got Hank Aaron's jersey in here, ball signed by Hank Aaron. We got Hank Aaron's jersey is signed by every major leaguer who hit 500 home runs, except for the two guys who did it before World War II. Try to get that out before I started COVIDing up. Canvases, cards. We got all the museum stuff, and I say museum stuff. We kind of call it a museum, but we're having a great time here. And Wisdom Harbor, the site, the actual website, the subscription site. There's going to be a major announcement in the month of January that's going to affect you in a great way. And so we are, huddling and giggling a lot here after hours as we get everything ready. And I'm glad we're past Christmas. I enjoyed Christmas, but I also had a lot of work to do during Christmas. Seemed like this year
You did. I came back to the studio and was like, look at all the stuff you did.
Well, I had some help because there was one of Santa's helpers helped me this year. And because he was not working out well for Santa, and so Santa asked me to counsel him, and so I had him down here. He was suffering from low self-esteem, and we got him fixed up. So, what else? Anything you guys want to say? I mean, this is the last show of the new year, of the old year. The last show before the new year, of the old year, before the new year. Mike Williams says there's a major remodel at a rural church. You no longer have to go out the building and around to use the restrooms. And his first year as pastor of Evergreen Baptist. And here, look what you have pulled off for everybody. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Do you know the people in Evergreen that make Conecuh sausage? You people around the country, you just don't know how good Conecuh sausage really is. You just have no idea. But Conecuh sausage is the best. Elaine Harcourt says she retired from her job of 22 years and moved to Georgia to live with her daughter and son-in-law. Now let me ask you this. That's a good thing that happened to you. Would they say that was a good thing happening to them? I hope so. Let's see. Billy Smart says, my sister Diane rediscovered Johannes, or is it Jones? It says Johannes. So your sister Diane rediscovered South Africa, and now she loves the books. I think that was supposed to be Jones.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm glad. Kelly Duke says, good thing for her. She's an elementary school librarian in West Tennessee who has learned a whole way to keep libraries relevant in the digital learning world. And you are an Auburn alum, too. Okay, Emily. And she also says that thing that's kind of like Roll Tide, but not as good as Roll Tide.
Right.
So she says that thing, too.
War Eagle.
Because I don't want to cuss on the air here. Becky was introduced to us by Mark Lowry's Facebook check-in. Good, thank you. Ruthie Luker, Stephen's wife, 2 granddaughters, Conley and May. Steve would have loved those babies. He would, but he is watching over them. You're right. Man, Steve, what he's, big old teddy bear. Jennifer Budd, we have lived to hold our first great-granddaughter. Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. Carolyn Brown, she did family Zooms with her 3 children and 9 grandchildren. In all probability, this time together would not have happened in 2020, except for the COVID. Yeah, probably not. Kathy Stone, a good thing for her was discovering the podcast and the Blue Plate specials. Great thing. Always loved what we do and got the books, but had no idea you could watch us until your son signed you up. Good. We're so glad. Thank you so much. And you listen to the books on Audible. Marcy Taylor, she found out about us this year through Mark Lowry and finding the show and podcast. Mark, he broke his leg, right? I'm sure you know that. And one of the funniest things to me is, some of us like text back and forth. And there was one night that we got that me, Jimmy Yeary, Sonia Isaacs, Anthony and Savannah of Sugarcane Jane, Gordon Moat, Kevin Williams, Wes Hampton, and Mark. We're all on one text stream. And, hey, there's Dr. Barb. Dr. Barb, we're praying for you. Dr. Barb's still having issues with the COVID stuff. And Dr. Grant just got out of the hospital, so prayers all covering you guys. But we're all on this text, and Mark just drops this on us. I broke my leg again. I'm just imagining his voice, even though it was text. It was, I broke my leg again. And I was like, what? Were you on a motorcycle? Yes. And you broke your leg again on a motorcycle. He said, same road, same place. Well, for about an hour, we all like texted back and forth, and it was one of the funniest laugh out loud things that I can't ever read on the air to you that I have ever experienced. But I'm going to tell you, Gordon Mote is very, very funny. And Jimmy Geary, very funny. Kevin Williams, very funny. You just think Mark's funny. All these guys, they're funnier than Mark, especially when Mark's sitting there with a broken leg headed to the hospital for surgery. The first surgery, I got to have another one in 6 weeks. And we're like, and Polly is piling on him too. Polly's going, okay, Mark, as soon as you get out of the hospital, call me and I'm going to give you my motorcycle story. And so, but he's evidently doing good. Maybe he's learned his lesson. I don't know. Somebody said something about him not being able to drive, and Gordon Mote said, Mark, I could drive a motorcycle better than you apparently can. And we're all just cracking up. And then somebody said, yeah, but every time he has a wreck, he tells a story about it and makes $1 million. And then Gordon says, well, I say just go on stage and lie about it and just tell them you had a wreck and not have to suffer through it. So everybody's just dying laughing. And then Wes comes out and Wes does his normal stuff saying, oh, I'm so sorry, Mark. We'll be thinking about you. And Mark says something like, see how nice Wes is and all you other buttholes out there. We were just crying, laughing. But this went on for like an hour. And after Christmas, I sent that string of texts back to everybody on that. And everybody was laughing, reading it again. So Betty says he sold all his motorcycles. Did he? Good. Sold them. Yeah, sold them. Should give them away. They're all wrecked. So, Garrett, the online community reached out and inspired my wife and I to start a business in June 2020. It helped us focus on what was possible, not focus on what was happening around us. Excellent. Mike White. Yeah, the series Chosen. The Chosen was released. That is exactly right. Have you seen The Crown, by the way? You guys seen The Crown? Oh my gosh. I'm going to tell you, it first of all, it'll make you kind of not like the royal family. I mean, they're just like, But in the season that has Margaret Thatcher on there, it's like Margaret Thatcher came back from the dead to play that role. I mean, it looks like Margaret Thatcher. And I had watched 3 episodes, and I found out it was Gillian Anderson playing Margaret Thatcher. I'm like, the girl from the X-Files is playing Margaret Thatcher. And man, I'm telling you, she's almost unrecognizable. She is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, she's unbelievable. And she has that very haunting way of speaking, Your Majesty. And it's just like, it's just wanted to just like, come on, get it out. And but she's brilliant. She's just absolutely brilliant. So I'm just kind of hanging on here, but I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Luann Wright says a good thing happened to her this year with her husband working from home. She has learned that she won't kill him when he retires. It's good that you've had that experience and know that now. It gives you and him a lot of certainty. Kathy Ellis Stone says, my 93-year-old mother has lived to hold and play with her great-great-granddaughter. Wow. And she says, yes, that means at 63 years old, you're a great-grandmother. Wow. And she's a great. That's great. All right, you guys, we will see you next year. We're very excited. And remember, we got a big thing happening in the 1st of January. We're going to do a big giveaway, a little giveaway contest. But we're also going to make a big announcement that you're going to be very excited about. I'm just telling you because we already are, because we know what the announcement is going to be, and you don't yet. But you can go ahead and get excited if you trust me enough to go ahead and get excited, because I'm telling you the truth. All right? Happy New Year. 2021, let's do it.